Welcome, nature detectives. I'm Conrad Baker. I'm an outdoor educator with the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation at Letchworth State Park, and tonight I have a nature mystery for you. It's a beautiful, rainy night, really warm and wet. It's a perfect environment for tons of small animals to go about their nightly business here in the woods. I found one of the most fascinating of these animals. Have it in the scientific jar of science, and we can use our nature tools to figure out what it is and how it helps us every single day. We'll use just one nature tool today, and that's our eyes. I'll show you the animal right here. Have you ever seen an animal that looks like this before? There are many different kinds of animals that will look just like this, but this one is really, really interesting. It has some fantastic superpowers. First nature clue that jumps out at me about this animal is how many legs it has. As soon as I see an animal like this, I think, yeah, that's a whole bunch of legs. The legs are pretty small. That's a huge nature clue. Second nature clue that leaps out at me about this animal is how slowly it moves. This animal does not seem to be very worried about what's going on right now. Its antennae are moving around, it's feeling its environment, seeing what's going on inside that scientific jar of science. It's just kind of bumbling along, wandering and feeling. Doesn't seem too concerned. It's definitely not running really quickly from corner to corner and zipping around super fast. It's an animal that moves at a pretty slow pace. Third nature clue that jumps out at me about this animal is its shape. Take a look at its back. Would you say that that back is flat across, totally flat like a table? Or is it domed? Does it kind of come up in the middle, like the middle of a tortoise's shell? Or maybe a hill? It's kind of a high, tall back. I would say by just about anybody's book that that's a tall, high back. That's what I was going for. It has a tall, high back that's shaped kind of like a hill or a tortoise shell, or even kind of like the back of a football. A rise and fall with a big, tall part right in the middle. Let's put all those nature clues together. This is an animal with a tall, domed back that moves around pretty slowly on lots of teeny tiny little legs. This must be a millipede. And millipedes are kinds of animals that like to live under leaves where it's nice and wet. There's lots of water and moisture for them to keep their bodies moist, but it's also where a lot of their food grows. They eat a lot of things that are starting to break down and decompose. They really help to speed up the process of turning dead, rotting things into nutritious soil for plants in the forest to grow in, and some plants that we like to eat, even in the forest, like some kinds of raspberries and blackberries. Just around this part of this forest right now, these millipedes are helping those kinds of plants to grow and grow these nice, tasty fruits that we like to eat. Some of these animals, some of these millipedes, have fantastic superpowers that help to protect them from predators. As they're moving around, bumbling around, they're pretty slow. They definitely don't bite or sting. They don't have a lot of what a scientist would call defense mechanisms, but they do have one trick up their sleeves. I have an extra special nature tool tonight to help us see what that superpower is. That special nature tool is called a UV flashlight. It's a flashlight that uses ultraviolet light. It's light that we're not normally able to see unless it is reflected off of something else. So let's take a look at this animal right now. Whoa! Do you guys see that? This millipede is glowing. A scientist would call that fluorescence. It's able to reflect the ultraviolet light coming out of the flashlight into those wonderful spectrum of colors coming off of its body. Lots of scientists believe that certain birds and predators are able to see ultraviolet light, even at night, and that by being colored so brightly, these millipedes are warning those predators that they might contain some toxic chemicals. So if they're eaten, they could hurt or even make those predators sick. It is a super duper special superpower that these millipedes have and a few other animals in the forest. If you guys really want to put your nature detective skills to the test, try to find some millipedes in your neighborhood. You definitely won't need an ultraviolet light like this. They will be easy to find if you flip over any leaves or logs. Look for those animals with sloped, big, tall backs, lots of teeny tiny legs, and moving really slowly. Some of them might even curl up in a ball to protect themselves if they are scared. Well, thank you so much for joining me for tonight's nature mystery. If you have any questions about millipedes or other small animals that might be hiding under the forest leaves at night, please don't hesitate to put a comment in the comment section below the video. Share this video with your friends to put their nature detective skills to the test. And as always, like Letchworth State Park's Facebook page to stay tuned for more nature mysteries.